Game Freak has given us many great Pokemon games in its history, and Pokemon Generation 5 can be considered one of the best ones. Launched in Generation 5, which included Pokemon Black and White, and their follow-ups Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. The storytelling and the narration that took place throughout these games were one of the standout features, with characters that I've already talked about in previous videos, like the Brillaince of Champion Elder and the Brillaince of Rival Bianca. However, today I'll be delving into the rival Hugh, who was introduced in Black 2 and White 2, as he is like nearly every character in Gen 5, which has a complicated past which gave them their multiple aspects of personality. If you're new to the channel, welcome, my name is Rusky, and for this video we will be going over what makes Hugh a standout rival, and how he was written generally very well. Even though he may seem forgettable, I have reason to believe it's because he was kept simple. More on that later, but before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a like or dislike. And as always, thank you guys for the recent support. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and without a further ado, let's get right into the video. We meet Hugh very early in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. As we get to view our starter Pokemon, we notice quickly that Hugh wasn't actually expected to pick a starter with us. So instead, he begged Bianca if he can get one too. She agrees, and that is the start of a newfound rivalry between Hugh and the protagonist. However, noted by the Bulbapedia, it said that Hugh wasn't even given a Pokedex, which puts him on a scale of uniqueness compared to other rivals before him. In fact, his desire of having a Pokemon didn't come from researching or expanding the Pokedex like us, but instead his desire is to take down the evil team that haunted his family, Team Plasma. Let's go back on how Hugh was a simple, written character. He doesn't do anything crazy within the series. He's your typical rival who wants to compete his power to you, and helps you fight evil teams and whatnot. However, what makes him interesting is his whole purpose. This is the part where I believe people tend to forget about, that his motivation of being a trainer in the first place was to have his revenge against Team Plasma. Team Plasma is notorious for stealing Pokemon from people, as they believe that Pokemon and trainers should be liberated. At some point in the past, before Team Plasma was disbanded by the original protagonist in Pokemon Black and White, Hugh's little sister had a Pokemon Brillaince stolen from her, a Pokemon that was given to her by her late grandfather, who I'll soon passed away just to give it more meaning and value. Within the first quest of taking down Team Plasma in Floessi Ranch, we were trying to find a lost Herdier, and we can see how emotional Hugh gets in this situation, as he takes a lost Pokemon very seriously due to his own experience of losing a Pokemon himself, showing very early on how serious Hugh is on his quest to find his sister's Brillaince and the resentment he has with Team Plasma. We can see numerous times in the series that Hugh has a grudge against Team Plasma. It even takes time for Hugh to warm up to ex-Team Plasma members that drifted from their old ways and believed that what they did before was wrong, and wanted to help end Team Plasma for good. Let's just use one example on how Hugh's attitude is toward meeting the ex-Team Plasma grunts in Driftful City. Even though the ex-Team Plasma members are not hostile to Hugh, in fact, it was the opposite. We can still see how hurt Hugh really is about his little sister's Brillaince. He even goes and asks Clay, the gym leader, on why he has forgiven them, and he just can't wrap his mind over it. It takes Hugh a while, but he realizes that they aren't his foe anymore, and instead faces the true threat. So again, in my opinion, Hugh wasn't written like a standout character, but more of a character to understand how people can really feel, which is helplessness over other people's actions. It really shows how much Team Plasma has affected the people and the trainers in Unova. Imagine if Hugh was not a trainer and did not get his starter Pokemon from Bianca. He would feel powerless on trying to find Brillaince for his sister, and getting his revenge on Team Plasma would be impossible. That is how most people would have felt. It's unfair and it's a terrible feeling, and it goes to show that a little detail of suffering and the realism that Gen 5 shows to us players. However, fate has given the chance for Hugh to get his revenge, which we see later on as he helps the protagonist take Team Plasma down, and eventually does secure the stolen Brillaince. However, the once stolen Brillaince is now a fully evolved leopard. It goes to show just how long Hugh was looking for this Pokemon. But what I love about is his reaction. He says to the player after finally achieving his goal, "Sorry, the situation's messing with my head. I just don't know what to do. I finally found my sister's Pokemon, but now it's glaring at me. Why?" I love this subtle text from Hugh, because it shows just how powerful his goal of revenge was, and that even after accomplishing what he wanted the most, he feels empty now. That's what usually happens when you have a goal of revenge. Once you achieve it, you feel empty or lost, because you made your whole life revolve around this one aspect, this one single desire. It's a maturing theme that Hugh teaches us players that yes, you can always have a reason to be angry or mad at people who hurt you, especially if it's your family, but never ever let that hate consume who you are. Don't let it affect how you live your life, or it will simply make you lost and empty in the end. Perhaps Game Freak was also trying to teach us that no matter how much hate you have towards a person or thing, no matter the action she or he did to you, holding a grudge will never be the answer. In fact, it's holding the grudge against that person, which is what makes you unable to live happy, to be able to move forward in your life, and that forgiveness always will be the one true aspect of happiness. Well anyways, this is getting a bit deep than I expected, but it goes to show just how simple character like Hugh put in a story that has depth can really go a long way, which is one of the many reasons why Pokemon Gen 5 is so deeply layered. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, as I'm always happy to bring you some more in-depth review on why Gen 5 is just an amazing game. I can continue further on with Hugh through the many more renditions like Pokemon Master EX or the Pokemon manga, but I like to stick mostly on just the DS games alone. With that being said, leave a comment on who else in Generation 5 you would like to see. Maybe Getsus or N, or whoever you want. I hope to see you guys again in the next one, and peace.